Okay, I hope it's on. Anyway, folks, today I thought what I'd talk to you about before I go flying, I'm going to talk to you about this. This is Spot. Now, Spot is something that I've used for quite a few years now. It comes in this handy little case here. I'm just going to pull it out so that I can show it to you. Now, this is an older model of Spot, this one here. And Spot is, to me, along with other ones, I think there's a few other ones around, is probably the least expensive way of letting people know where you are within 10 minutes all the time. So I use this basically as my search and rescue type thing. If anything were ever to happen, I can just hit this SOS button here. There's a little, see this little thing right here? You can pop that off the side, and then you push that button, and it automatically goes towards the rescue facilities that there's an issue. And they have all this data from me online when you subscribe. So you take this, you buy it, then there's a subscription fee that you pay, and it's not very expensive. It's on an average, I would say, about $10 a month. So I just get a yearly subscription because I don't like the reconnecting fees that always come along with it. So I just pay the 110, 115, 20 bucks or whatever it is, and it keeps my family, if I'm going flying, they know where I am all the time. They just go onto the computer. I've got a designated web address for Spot, which they give you, and that goes right to the download data that this thing puts out every 10 minutes. It leaves a breadcrumb, and so even when I'm here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on right now, and what that will do is activate it, and it'll connect with the satellites. Okay, so I got one. Now you'll see that on one, the green light is flashing. Okay, now I'm going to turn on the other one, which leaves a footprint. I usually hold it down for about 5 seconds, and you'll notice that they're probably both flashing green. I can't see it here, but yeah, there they go. They're both flashing green. Now, when they're both flashing green, that means it's all set up, and it is now communicating with the satellite. The satellite then will download that data onto the website that I have. Now, it's all GPS coordinated type stuff, so it'll actually take a right where I am right now. It'll show where I am. So I'm going to put this, just leave it in my window here. Just going to put it right there on the side, and it's just going to start transmitting away. So while I'm sitting here talking, within 10 minutes, that thing will leave a footprint. Now, what's nice about it is when you download, or when you go to the website, which I provide to both the I do that to the FAA for a flight plan, and I'll also do that with Transport Canada or Nav Canada, and I'll give them my address for this unique website that I have, so that if something were to happen, they can always go down and check that website, and they will see where the last footprint occurred. So they don't have to start looking where, you know, on the flight plan where you've already been. So they can do it within about 10 minutes of where you've been and start searching there. I also use it not only for the airplane. I use it when I go on a big car trip. When the wife and I go for a trip, I put it in the car, and bang, the thing just keeps on plugging away. Every time we get in the car, we'll turn the thing on, and if we're on the first day of our trip, like we did on the one that we went out east, the kids always knew where we were. They could tell you, if you go to the website, they have a Google map overlay. So they have the highways map, they have a Google Earth map. So in other words, it'll actually like a satellite picture. So if you take this airport and you look at that specific that download that I've got on here, it'll actually show you this parking spot and the fuel tank beside me out here, and some of the other airplanes, which was maybe taken in 2013 or whenever those Google satellite imageries were taken. But it'll take you right to the parking spot, right in between the lines. I mean, I've driven to a hotel and parked the car, and you know, we've unloaded the car, went into the hotel, and then I turned the spot off. And you can go to the My Unique website then, which is unique to which Spot provides you, and it'll give you that satellite imagery, and you'll be parked right in between the lines. Like, it'll have a footprint right between those two lines where you're parked. So it's amazing. Had a friend of mine that was on a motorcycle trip. I was following him around. I think he drove down to Mexico or something like that. And I could follow him around. And when he stopped at a hotel, if he stopped at a pub, I could tell. I could, you know, which is great if you want to keep track of your buddies that way. And it's great for the family. It gives them peace of mind. And especially with the airplane stuff, you know, it's to me, it's almost, well, you know, you file a flight plan. Yeah, that's great, but, you know, sometimes you might be gone for 2 hours and you don't talk to anybody, you don't give an update. Well, this thing has just given you an update. So, to me, that's the way to go. So, I'm going to go flying now, and we're going to leave this on. I'm going to fly around the patch here for about an hour or so, and what I hope to do then is when I get back home, I will show you what it looks like, what this little jaunt of an hour looks like on the map. And like I said, it's not only Spot that has these, there's other ones too, and they're very good as well. A lot of them are made specifically for aviation. They'll give you your altitude, your speed. This one it doesn't, but you know, they're also more expensive. So anyway, that's we're just going to do that. We're going to start the plane up now. I'm actually preheating it right now, so that's why I thought I'd do this little blurb in the airplane right now and give you what we're going to be doing. So we'll get back to you later on, and we'll show you what it looks like. To the normal Tinny Lakes again, and just take a look, and we'll do that Spot thing, you know, so you'll be able to track it. Later on when I get home, I'll take a screenshot of the breadcrumbs that I'm leaving, and it'll give you a better idea how it works. And I'm just going to get the Avis here from Calgary so that I know what the altimeter setting is, so just hang on.
Calgary International, information Charlie, weather at 2000 Zulu, wind 170 at 8, visibility 19,000 broken, 30,000 broken, temperature 3, dew point -4, altimeter 3014. The IFR approaches our ILS, runways 17 right and 17 left for 8 visual. Simultaneous, parallel, ILS or visual approaches are in use. Landing and departures, runway 17 right and runway 17 left. High intensity runway operations in effect. Inform ATC that you have information Charlie.
Okay, well, that looks good. Okay, so you can see my panel out here. I've actually got a, if you see this over here, right there, that is a data recording there. It actually records engine parameters, and it keeps it on a chip. The instruments that are hooked up to it are that one. Okay, and that has to be calibrated yet. It's a real bugger to calibrate, but anyway, I'm going to have to do that sometime. You need 2 people to do it. And then there's the other one down here, which is my fuel flow one. And it is all sorts of goodies in it. You have the fuel flow per hour. As you can see right now, that's the way it's set. Okay, there. Okay, and then what you can do is You can go fuel remaining. I noticed I got 47.4 gallons left. Fuel used is 2.6 miles per gallon. Oh, don't go there. Gotta go a whole pile of miles to make that worthwhile. And then I don't have any ox tanks on this. It's just straight 25 gallons a side. So I usually keep it that way. So when I lean it, and I want to get book figures, I just pull it. Well, I can lean right now. I don't want to lean. Oh yeah, I can lean right now. There. I'll just pull her back a bit here. Okay, folks, you can see down there, that's, I think we were over here once before, and you'll notice that the water has turned a little bit green, and the ice huts that are on it that they're fishing out of are not really, I don't think it's really safe to be out on there at this point in time. I'll just zoom in on this if I can. Yeah, there you go. See some of the fishing huts that are out there. Well, actually, maybe they're not quite sure if there's. I think there is a few cars out there. So I guess I'm surprised. Anyway, the ice must be a little thicker than it looks like, because it has been well above freezing over the last week or so. So that's the Chain Lakes, and when we look at Spot coming up on the computer when we get home, I'll show you what that looks like on the computer when I do the layover or the satellite imagery on it. We're going to head off to Cleared now, and it's about 20 nautical miles south east of us here. So we're just coming out of the foothills of Alberta by the Chain Lake area.
Well, as you can see, folks, we're home and sitting behind the computer screen. I'm going to show you the route that we took and give you some idea what it looks like on the screen. Now I've signed in. That's all you have to do. You just have your normal password and so forth to sign in. And you'll notice that this particular screen here is just a normal highway type thing. It has all the towns and roads on it, highways and so forth, and a little bit of geographical stuff along the side out here, and names of mountains and so on. But it also has, and you can zoom in on this as well, like I'll just show you there, as you can see, and then it gets more detailed as you zoom in. But also in the right side there, right over here, you'll see satellite. So what it's going to do, it'll do an overlay for satellite imagery. There you go. Now this is again the route, and what you can do now again is zoom in on this or zoom out, whatever you want. You can see the mountains off to the left out here, and let's zoom in. So we're going to zoom in to the airport in High River, and you'll recall I was sitting at the airport in High River in the airplane, and I was basically preheating the aircraft and then giving you some idea what the system looked like, what it did, and so on. And now what I'm going to show you is what it looks like after you've completed the flight. Okay, now there's the airport. You got the north-south runway and the east-west runway, and this is what I was referring to. The airplane is actually sitting right in that area, right over in here, and you'll see all numbers piled on top of each other. There's a 2, and there's probably a 1 underneath that, and a 3, and so on, because I probably sat there for 30 minutes at least, just
yakking to you folks in the airplane. There you are. There's a 1 behind there, there's a 2, and there's a 3. So once I actually did leave, I ended up over here, number 4, and it just so happened that 10 minutes after I left, I was at the end of the runway and ready to take off. So since it takes a shot every 10 minutes, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be exact. In other words, it doesn't keep you posted every minute. Now, I believe you can set the breadcrumb for less time, but since I don't have that fast an airplane, it really doesn't matter. If you had a fast airplane, it'd probably be better to get, say, 2 or 3 minutes instead of the 10 minutes. Anyway, we're going to go down to what it looks like at the end of the runway right here. Click on that and it'll tell you I left at 1:45. That's the time that a signal was sent to the satellite, and there's the time right there. It also tells you your battery state, how things are, and it also gives you your latitude and longitude and the name of the spot. In this particular case, it's called Chet's spot. Okay, now that's number 4. So theoretically, if you have it set right for every 10 minutes, the next breadcrumb should read 1:55. So let's go to the next breadcrumb, which will be number 4, or rather number 5. So we'll get rid of this one and we'll go to number 5. So we'll just zoom out, and there's number 5. Click on number 5 and there it is, 1:56. So basically in the 10-minute frame. I then went up here, there's number 6, 10 minutes later, 2:05 p.m. Number 7, 2:16 p.m. So basically every 10 minutes. But I'll just show you that area where I was circling over the Chain Lake. And this is the area right here where they were ice fishing. That was green ice. Underneath it's all nice green water. However, this picture was obviously taken just after a rainstorm, and that's all the silt which has come down from the mountains and deposited itself in this particular area, and that's quite common. The rivers, they all turn brown after a good rainstorm, and then after a few days it all settles and it becomes that nice green turquoise color again. And there's Claresholm. There's the town right there, and there's the airport, and you can zoom in on the airport. There's runway 03 and the reciprocal 21 on the other side. This is one of these typical military airports from World War II, where only one runway is now active, and that's the one they've repaved. All the other ones are now closed. Okay, getting back to our map and the route, I basically flew in around the Claresholm Airport. I was doing some practice approaches out there, and went to the northwest part of High River, and then came back in to join the circuit. Back to High River Airport. I landed on 2.5 here. The wind was light and variable, so I just come in, then I don't have to taxi all that way or do a backtrack. And you'll notice there's number 15. Click on number 15, tells you I was back at 3:25 p.m. So I left at 1:15 p.m., was back at around 3:25 p.m. So basically I got a little bit more than an hour flying in, which was great. Just really enjoyed it. It was a beautiful day. On the top right hand corner of your screen, you will also see a little button. It says subscribe. If you're so inclined, folks, and you want to keep up with my vlogs, just click on that, subscribe. I'd appreciate it, and hopefully we'll get to do a little bit more in the air next week, and we'll chat with you then. Thanks for watching. So long now.